1st, 2021 to order. At this time, we'll have an invocation pledge of allegiance. If you are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, I lift
Okay, we'll have a roll call going from my left. Pat, say your name. Speaking, okay.
Yeah.
Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Jennifer McCauley.
Kevin Toole.
Okay, approval of minutes. Do we have any additions, deletions, or corrections for the council meeting minutes of June the 7th, 2021, and the study session minutes of June the 14th, 2021? If not, they are approved as distributed. Okay, item 5. We have a gentleman who is being recognized for service to the city of North Augusta. He's retiring, Mr. Patrick Yance. Patrick is not with us, but let me tell you a little bit about Patrick and what he's done and has meant to the city of North Augusta. North Augusta Parks, Recreation Tourism Department Center Coordinator Patrick Yance retired from the city of North Augusta on Tuesday, June the 8th, 2021. Patrick grew up in the Recreation Department at the city of North Augusta as his mother, which many of y'all know, Pat Yance, taught ceramics class to senior adults and summer youth campers. Patrick spent many days after school and in the summers at Maud Edenfield Park, hanging out at the old Recreation Center. It's no accident that the little boy that grew up in the park would spend a career working for the city. Patrick was hired on July the 17th, 1991 as a maintenance worker at Riverview Park. Patrick was promoted to trades worker in January 1996. For 13 years, Patrick worked at the park setting up athletic fields for youth and adult sports. Patrick's performance and his duties at Riverview Park earned him a promotion on February the 11th, 2004 to the North Augusta Community Center. In February 2007, Patrick was promoted to the position of center coordinator. Patrick's variety of skill set made him the perfect fit for the community center. His duties included coordination and supervision of the rental of the community center for wedding receptions, retirement parties, birthday parties, high school proms, chamber banquets, polling precincts, blood drives, community theater and concerts, employee recognition banquets, church services, master plan charrettes, political rallies, arts and heritage events, senior citizen events, community service organization meetings, and so much more. He worked many evenings and weekends over his career at the community center. He not only worked the events, but he also did most of the event setup and breakdown, as well as keeping the building clean and operational. He spent many weekends cleaning the carpets in the center so that the facility will look presentable for our community. He did lots of routine maintenance work in the building that saved the city time and money. Patrick came in contact with so many people over his career and chose to be that employee in the background who just went about doing his job. If you have attended any event in the North Augusta Community Center over the last 17 years, it is almost certain that you have attended a function that Patrick Yance had his handprints all over and was working behind the scenes to be sure your visit was pleasant. So Patrick, wherever you are, thank you for all you've done to make the city of North Augusta special, and we wish you a wonderful retirement. You're too young, but good luck to you.
Yes, he is.
Okay, we're at unfinished business. Number 6, do I have a motion to consider ordinance number 2021-16, an ordinance granting an easement to Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. for placement of facilities to serve Fire Station 1. Ordinance, this is the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion from Mr. Toole, a second from Ms. Carpenter. Anything you'd like to add to this, Mr. Clifford?
Just as a reiteration for our citizens at home, this ordinance would allow us to provide connectivity from Dominion Power into Fire Station 1 on Martintown Road. This is a routine action. If I had the ability to approve this locally, I would have, but based on the way our city ordinances are written, this requires council approval for the city to enter into this arrangement with Dominion for an easement or correction for a connection into our Fire Station 1. So the staff recommendation remains the same, which is we would like the council to approve this action.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments? All right, any discussion from council? Hearing none, I will take a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. All right, item number 7, do I have a motion to consider ordinance number 2021-07, amending section 12-21 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of North Augusta by establishing specific exceptions to said section. Ordinance is a second reading. Motion by Mr. Brooks. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. McCauley, thank you. Anything you want to add to this, Mr. Clifford?
Again, for our citizens at home, this is the second reading of this ordinance, and so this broadly accomplishes 3 things. It allows the city to extend our noise hours in Riverside Village only till 11:30 p.m. for both Friday and Saturday evenings. It allows the city administrator and the assistant city administrator to be able to make exceptions for times outside of that policy, specific to things in Riverside Village, such as the amphitheater. So if there was a Thursday night event in the summertime that needed to go past 11:30, that would be our jurisdiction to handle. And then lastly, what it covers is for the ability for the Augusta Green Jackets to be exempted from the noise ordinance to go past 11:30 on any night based on any number of factors, to include weather, double headers, or anything along those lines. The intention for the stadium all along has been to be able to host baseball games, so we don't want to put them in some jeopardy to be able to accomplish what it is they're setting out to do there in the stadium. So those are the 3 things that we believe as a staff this does, and again, that's up to the council's decision.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments? Okay, any discussion from council? Okay, hearing none, I will take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we now move to new business. Number 8, Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-22, authorizing proceeds from the 2021 North Augusta versus Midland Valley baseball game at SRP Park to be used to purchase new batting cage nets at Riverview Park?
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Carpenter, a second Mr. Brooks. What would you like to add to this, Mr. Clifford?
Really for the citizens at home, understanding that everything we have on the agenda here for the rest of the evening are resolutions, not ordinances. So that's one thing I'd like to point out. And then for this specific resolution under Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, allows us to take the proceeds from a very specific game at SRP Park to be used for a very specific purchase, which is for the purchase of new batting cage nets at Riverview Park. This was forwarded to us by our director, Rick Meyer, and PRT with the staff concurrence, and we would recommend that the council approve this action.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Not hearing any, I will take a vote. All in favor? It passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 9, Economic Development. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-23, establishing and agreeing to participate in the Lower Savannah Regional Home Consortium? Is there a motion, Ms. Brooks? Ms. Carpenter?
Mm-hmm.
A second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Toole. Thank you. Mr. Clifford?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this item here is a continuation of an existing agreement we have with the Lower Savannah Council of Governments. Dr. Molnar, who heads up that organization, is here in the audience this evening and is prepared to answer any specific questions that you have. I had been asked previously at the study session by Councilman Toole and also separately by Mayor Williams about whether any citizens of North Augusta had taken part in this program, and the answer is no. So as we have our media outlets here in the room tonight, I would certainly encourage them to be able to have connective networking with Dr. Molnar so we could do a better job of getting this program out in the public eye. Again, there's no harm to the city in participating with this agreement. It doesn't cost the city anything, but in order for the Lower Savannah Council of Governments to be able to administer this program for our citizens, you as the council have to approve that action.
Okay. Any citizen comments? Okay. Council discussion?
Well, is there any other than the press? Is any other? How do citizens of North Augusta know?
Yeah.
Would this possibly be on our website too, that they could look at? And
We could
to me,
absolutely
this is a
link
good
anything
program.
that Dr. Molnar provides to us to our website. Again, that's a governmental organization, so no conflicts of interest there. So we're happy to share any data that we have, although I tend to think we're going to get even better spread with our media outlets than just off the city webpage.
Okay. Mr. Clifford, if you don't, if it's all right, Ms. Mulder, would you like to come forward and just take a couple minutes and maybe just share a little bit about it, if you don't mind? I probably jumped that, but sorry. First time we've done this, so.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be with you all.
You
this
just give
evening.
your name and address for the record, please.
Absolutely. My name is William Molnar. My address is 151 Chardonnay Lane in Aiken, and I am the executive director for the Lower Savannah Council of Governments. The Housing Consortium is a consortium of 6 different counties. We serve 6 different counties, being Aiken, Allendale, Bamberg, Barnwell, Orangeburg, and Calhoun counties. The consortium itself is to assist with low-income, it's usually seniors, people over 60, with some of their housing needs, getting a house back up to code. We also work with a number of nonprofits, Habitat being one of them. We work with some other housing corporations who help to build low-income housing. In this fund, on an annual basis, we receive anywhere from $750,000 to $1 million, and that money goes out into these programs across the region. To let you know, last month with the American Rescue Plan, we received an additional $3.8 million to go into this fund, and so that was what Mr. Clifford and I had talked about, is making sure that we get the word out to the folks here in North Augusta that this program is available. And we want to make sure that especially the seniors here in this region, get to be using that program as much as possible. We also know that with the American Rescue Plan, there is additional funding coming out for transitional housing, as well as housing for those who are homeless. And so there's going to be additional money coming out from there. And we're also developing plans and looking forward to seeing some of that funding coming into the region and how we can make sure that we're working with our partners, such as the Cumbie Center and other organizations, to make sure that there's transitional housing for those folks who truly need it.
Very good. And I think Ms. Carpenter's right. If we can put a link to the website, we just need to drive people there. That's great.
I got a question
Yes,
too
ma'am.
for this young man, because I deal with a lot of times people call me and say I'm homeless, and I put them up in a motel for so many nights and days. So, did you say something about home? Like if a mother with 3 or 4 children is homeless?
No, ma'am, we don't, specifically with this program, not dealing with homelessness, but with the American Rescue Plan that was approved back in March, there is a great deal of funding that everybody's still trying to unpack right now. Some of that is for transitional housing. I mentioned the Cumbie Center, which also serves North Augusta.
Right.
And so they're looking for how to make sure that there's transitional housing for those people who are in that facility, to make sure that they have a way of getting out of that facility step by step.
Okay.
With the homelessness, it's one of those where we're still trying to figure out what is in that piece of legislation and how to unpack it and how to access those fundings.
Yes, because there, there's a lot of families in North Augusta
Mr.
like
Molnar,
that, so.
how does an individual get the information what these funds can be used for?
So we work with a number of different programs, Habitat being one of them. We also work with a number of church groups who help give out that message. It's one of those things where we work with some of the Housing Coalition folks in different communities, and we will be working to make sure that not only is it on your website, but in your local newspaper, and making sure that we, most likely when this new funding comes up, having a public meeting here as well.
Thank you.
Now, one more question, then I'll let you know. North Augusta Community Ministry, are they familiar with this? 'Cause
I cannot tell you specifically, ma'am, but I will find out for
yeah,
you.
because that's,
Okay.
that definitely, because, you know, some of their clientele would need this, so, thank you.
Just writing my note. Got it.
We appreciate you coming tonight. It's very good information. We need to get it out to everybody, so thank you.
Always a pleasure, and it's really nice to be back with everybody again.
Great, thank you. Okay, if I hear no other council discussion, then I would like to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Very good. All right. Item number 10, public safety. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-24, authorizing receipt of proceeds from Project Lifesaver of North Augusta and designating the proceeds for the Project Lifesaver program? A motion by Mr. Brooks, a second, Ms. McCauley. What would you like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
For mayor and council and for our citizens at home, this Project Lifesaver is a project which allows us to find typically elder folks that are suffering from some form of dementia or other kind of disease that causes them to wander around. So this is a good program. It's a larger program than just City of North Augusta, but public safety has some connective tissue into this particular organization and has recommended that we pursue this option. And our staff recommendation of the council is the same, that allows them to participate in this broader program, which we all think is for a good purpose.
Will we continue this? Is this a continuation of increasing proceeds going in, moving forward? Is how that works? Chief? Okay. Great, thank you. Okay, any citizen comments? All right, any discussion from council? Hearing none, I will ask, take a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. All right. Item 11, public safety. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-25, a resolution to adopt the update of the Aiken County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for 2021? Motion by Ms. Carpenter. Is there a second? Ms. McCauley, thank you. Mr. Clifford?
Mayor and council and citizens, what this allows us to do is to participate with Aiken County in their multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, which involves FEMA, so that if you have a natural disaster of some type here in this region, that we can participate fully with the different agencies that are associated with the disaster and the disaster recovery. So again, this is something that we would that we are continuing. We wish to maintain this relationship, and it would be beneficial to the citizens of our city should some kind of natural disaster befall our municipality.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 12, economic development. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-26, a resolution to commit the City of North Augusta's participation in a retail recruitment training program?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Toole is a second. Ms. McCauley. Ms. Clifford, would you like to share this about this?
Yes, sir. So this is a program that is being hosted by the Municipal Association of South Carolina that they've opened up to all municipalities here in the state. And really what it is a training and education program which culminates in a visit with a number of retailers at their convention. And so ultimately what this allows us to do is to build connections to the business community, and usually large business community items like a Target or a Home Depot, or chain stores and chain restaurants that are looking to figure out where they put their next store. So obviously we've got a lot of growth here in North Augusta, and there's still some untapped corridors here, and we think this connectivity to the larger business community would be beneficial for the city. And I'll defer to Rachel, since she did a great job of explaining it at the study session, if she wanted to add anything.
I don't have anything to add. I did just want to point out on our slide presentation that's being shown, we've got items 12 and 13 swapped. So the agenda and what we're discussing is correct. On the slide that's being shown, this item is listed as 13 and it should be listed as 12.
Right. Okay.
Question.
Let me just ask.
Ms. Rachel,
Oh, yeah, go
we
ahead.
used a company a few years ago. Was it Buxton?
Buxton.
Buxton.
Buxton?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who did very much the same identical program that we're looking at?
Yes, very similar. If we were to contract individually with a Buxton or another company, the cost would be much more significant, looking at least 15,000, upwards of 25,000. So this is in a way, a cooperative purchasing program for training and market analysis that the Municipal Association has put together for us, so we get more bang for our buck.
Thank you.
Okay. Any citizen comments? Okay. Any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item 13, administration. Do have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-27 to authorize the city to enter into an agreement to become a host for the Veterans Local Government Management Fellowship Program. Ms. Carpenter, second Mr. Brooks. Thank you. Ms. Clifford?
Again, for our citizens at home, what this allows us to do is enter an agreement with ICMA, which is the International City and County Manager Association. And so ultimately, this is a program that's an arrangement between ICMA and the Department of Defense, which allows for a transitioning service member, in our case likely from Fort Gordon, to go through a fellowship program that allows them to be paid by the Department of Defense at their current pay grade where they're exiting service for a 16 to 20 week window to learn about local government. And that gives them an opportunity to figure out if this is the career path that they would like to take. Unlike some other fellowship agreements with the Department of Defense, there is no requirement for the host city to guarantee a job at the end of that cycle. This is really just to give them a familiarity with how the city or county government works. We already have a prospective candidate that would like to be involved in this fellows program in September timeframe. And so I would recommend to the council, since it's no cost to the city and we get some basically free labor out of the program and get better connectivity to Fort Gordon, I think it's well worth doing. And I'd encourage the council to vote positive in this matter.
And I believe we'll be the first municipality in the state.
Sir, I misspoke. So it'll be likely the second, and this will be the first in the CSRA. So the 2-state, 7-county region around Fort Gordon, we would be the first official host city.
Okay, very good. Okay, any citizen comments? Yes, sir. Come on, Mr. Adams. So what I would, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you. What I would ask, if you would, just state your name and address for the record.
Oh, my name is Kevin Adams,
Okay.
and my address is 116 Rosemary Lane, North Augusta, South Carolina.
All right, great. Good to have you
Okay.
with us. Yes, sir.
What is if they are veterans, what's the criteria to that?
So the criteria of this is for a departing veteran who's currently in service out of any local fort, quite frankly. So, and they could actually serve at a different location. So, for example, if the Department of Defense had barrack space available at Fort Gordon and they wanted to come from Shaw Air Force Base or some other military base, they could enter an arrangement with that fort for them to be able to serve here in this city for this period of time. So the way the program is structured between the Department of Defense and the ICMA is that they are currently serving folks that are transitioning out of the military into civilian life.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good question. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments from citizens? Okay. Any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? And that passes unanimous. Item number 14, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-28, a resolution authorizing and declaring the intent of the city of North Augusta to use certain real property at Riverview Park for the Miracle League field and for other purposes? Motion by Ms. McCauley, second by Mr. Brooks. Mr. Clifford?
Well, I don't think I need to remind the council of the excellent staff study update we got from the wrecking crew. And obviously had a lot of great guest speakers that talked about the benefit to them and to our community at large to be able to detail one of our fields at Riverview Park for the purpose of establishing a Miracle League field. They have some work to do on their end as far as fundraising, but ultimately this resolution allows the city to enter an arrangement with them to be able to set aside one of those fields at Rick Meyer's discretion to figure out which is the right fit for them. But this is a first step in us being able to have a formal ability to put a Miracle League field here in the city of North Augusta. And again, this was at request of council from the last study session. This was not on the original draft agenda, but based on the very powerful update we got from the wrecking crew, it ended up on today's agenda, and our staff recommendation is that you would approve it.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comments? Council discussion? Okay. The only thing I'm going to say is just for folks, a couple things that came out to me last time was people need to realize they are impacting in about a 6-county area and over 6,000 participants. And I've had this question asked this week in interviews and other things is, this is just the right thing to do because it's good for people and good for families and for this community. So we thank you, Pam, for your leadership and everything you've done. You've influenced this community. So at this point, here another discussion, I would ask for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimous.
So the fundraiser can start tomorrow.
Go get them. Okay. Item number 15. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-29, a resolution directing the city administrator to file in accordance with section 5.1.2.2 of the City Development Code a sketch plan with the Planning Commission showing the potential development of a public safety headquarters and municipal court on property located at 1208, 1220, and 1220 and a half Georgia Avenue. Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Brooks, second Mr. Toole. Mr. Clifford?
Mr. Mayor and Council and our citizens at home and here in the room today, what this resolution would allow the administration to do is to provide a sketch plan to the Planning Commission for their comment and review. What this resolution does not do is give the city administrator the ability to move forward on a rezoning action. That would have to be required before we could move forward on a public safety headquarters move. So I know there's some citizen comments out there about whether this is where this ought to go or not. There are multiple steps that have to occur. There are multiple opportunities for citizen comments throughout this process. So what this simply does is allows the city to go forward to the Planning Commission and just show in a conceptual kind of way what we think this could look like, and then to get the Planning Commission feedback in a formal manner to take back to council based on that report, and then make a decision from there about whether to represent to the Planning Commission, or correction, to come to the council to request a resolution allowing me to go to the Planning Commission for rezoning.
Okay.
So this is the first of many, many steps that would have to occur, but this is a requirement for us to be able to at least have a discussion with the Planning Commission in a formal and in a public view kind of way.
Okay, great. Any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Okay. Only thing I'll say is, as we talked about last time, just want to echo what you said. A couple points that were very important for council when this came up in study session, and I think it's things we learned previously, is being on the Planning Commission when this happened last time. I know one of the things that did not happen was it was brought to us automatically for the rezoning without any ability for us to do a sketch review or give any kind of feedback. So we learned from that. So we are going down the right road with the Planning Commission on how to do this. We have also are opening it up for people to understand what the path will be going forward. We will allow citizen comments, and we will have this an open discussion. So we are very, very early on this, and what we're trying to do is do it the right way and make sure that we have total transparency and discussion with the community as we move forward. And this is just one step of that process. So I just want to reiterate that. So at this point, excuse me, if there's no other council discussion, then I will take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Any administrative reports, Ms. Clifford?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have some late-breaking news for Mayor and Council and our citizens. And so what we got from Public Services today is that there is a wastewater line that crosses underneath the Greenway Trail near Cypress Drive, and that pipe is defective. And so we're going to have to do some work on that line, and we're scheduled to do that Wednesday, this June the 23rd, which means that we'll be closing the Greenway Trail from 8 a.m. until approximately 3 p.m. for that period of time. There's some other work that has to happen in that area, but doesn't require the Greenway to be closed. But Wednesday, the Greenway will be closed at that location. We'll put that out via social media as well, so we get that out to our larger audience. And that's late-breaking news.
And will that affect any of the homeowners in that area, like coming out of there? Okay.
James says no.
Well, if James said that, you can bank on it.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Clifford?
No, sir.
Okay. So now item 17, any presentation, communication, recognition of visitors. This is the time for citizens who would like to speak to mayor and council regarding any matter that was not on the agenda we just went through. This is an opportunity if you would care to speak. Here, gentleman's coming down. Sir, if you would state your name and address for the record.
Name's Ken Macon. I'd like to withhold my address because of the times. Hope that doesn't offend. Not my first time up here.
Okay.
But my first time, I guess, talking with you incidentally. Congratulations.
Thank you. I believe it is. Yes, sir. And Mr. Macon, I say this every time we do this. One of the things you may see different in the past, you would normally have a big clock above me, okay? And one of the changes we've made is we don't have a clock. I've asked our city clerk, Ms. Lamar, to track that on her phone. I just think the clock's intimidating, quite frankly. But I would ask you, do your best to stay within 5 minutes. I am flexible, and no one's taken advantage of me yet. So I don't expect you to be the first. So I think we're in good shape. But anyway, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As previously stated, good evening to all. My name is Ken Macon, and I would like to raise some community concerns and suggestions in light of the news that the City of North Augusta will be receiving nearly $9 million from the Biden administration's American Rescue Plan. While I understand the desire to use the money for revenue replacement, it is clear there are certain disparities in the city that can be addressed with this sum of money. I should first note there is a crisis of poverty in North Augusta. It's not often presented on the news or brought to the attention of the council, but depending on various reports and data, the poverty rate for African Americans hovers around 30%, which is 4 times that of the poverty rate for whites in North Augusta, Considering the more than 4-to-1 ratio of whites to African Americans in the city, that statistic is extremely problematic. These suggestions that I will present tonight are initiatives that would focus on these concerns in the spirit of not only economic uplift, but social uplift. Over the past year, I and many others have collaborated to hold community events at Summerfield Park, whether they be back-to-school events, turkey giveaways, and more. Most recently, we had the good fortune to hold a Juneteenth cookout at Summerfield. While the park has grown in its amenities for children, it still pales in comparison to the facility at Riverview Park. Particularly, there is no indoor facility to provide services to those North Augustans who live within earshot of the park and middle school. We'd like to see the city make an investment to the tune of $4 million to begin the work of improving Summerfield Park in a way that provides opportunities for children and young adults, among others. At that same cookout, a colleague of mine saw a woman who was soaked in rainwater due to inclement weather. It's clear that the city does not provide enough service in terms of transportation. It's more frustrating to see the city provide service to folks attending baseball games, yet not for people who would use the service to go to jobs and or gain resources. This is why we'd like to see the city make a $3 million investment in transportation. And no, we don't need buses. A well-planned out shuttle service can service the people of North Augusta. Finally, I would like to note the lack of black businesses in North Augusta. That dearth is no more apparent than a drive down Georgia Avenue, where you have to squint and look at a marquee to see a black-owned business. This is simply unacceptable in a town that claims to be progressive and business-minded. We'd like to see the city invest in 20 black-owned businesses to the tune of $100,000 per business, not in loans, but in grants. I understand this is only a modest investment to address the lack of representation in downtown and to address the large gap in wealth disparity. With that said, we must start somewhere. I understand the aforementioned $8.91 million is a projected amount and largely unaccounted. At the same time, I understand the urgency of curbing poverty and creating prosperity for all North Augustans. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Wynn. Very good. Any other citizen comments? Mr. Adams back. Good to see you, sir.
Kevin Adams, 116 Rosemary Lane, North Augusta, South Carolina. I would like to ask the guy who was talking about the churches. What churches? Can you please provide what churches that supported that? Okay. I mean, what churches are they supporting? Because it's not every church.
I don't remember hearing the church.
Yeah, he did mention that. He did mention that. Yeah, because that's why I said brought up community ministry, because the churches support community ministry, all the churches in this area. And so, yeah, but he did mention that too. So that might be something Jim clarify with him for Kevin.
Kevin, we can get you that answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got his information? Okay. So if that's all right, we'll get that information.
I had another.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm a veteran. I'm a United States Marine. So when I checked, I see veterans pictures up. But how does that help us when we have to pay $75 to put it up?
I can cover that if you'd like.
Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you.
So the initiative from the Veterans Group, this is done out of Aiken on the Veterans Project that they have. So what we do as the city is provide, the pole space for them to be able to hang their banners, and I believe the cost associated with that is part of their production to make the banner itself, and then also for their awareness. So ultimately, we have a relationship with this Veterans Group that runs this, but the city's not generating the banners or taking the money or any of those kinds of things. But we do this as a way to kind of honor our veterans, regardless of service, even for the Marines, to make sure they're good to go on where we go. So ultimately, we have a number of different folks that are posted up on those banners right now across multiple conflicts and multiple backgrounds and multiple services. But ultimately, what we get is a list from the Veterans Group that tells us these are the folks that have purchased a banner and want to have it, posted.
Can we help Mr. Adams maybe get him in contact with that veterans group?
Well,
I know how to get in contact.
Oh, you know, okay. I just didn't know if that's who does it. Yeah. Right.
Question I had too was, is there a way for citizens to donate to that fund?
I'm not aware of a single nonprofit, man, that wouldn't take money, but I can certainly get you linked up.
Just so everybody knows that they can
I
do
think
that.
they can. Yeah.
But I think, Kevin, that group came to us, 2 years ago?
No, ma'am, they came while I was still, or when I had just started
Oh,
to
no,
give
I
an
thought it was
update.
for that.
They may have presented before that as well.
Yeah, they've come to us, and they just asked, would we be willing to put those banners up? And of course, we thought, boy, that's great. And I got to get myself going to get my husband up. I hadn't done it yet, but like I said, yeah, $75 seems like a lot, something, But I see what you're saying there, but it does not have anything to do with the city other than us using our polls for people. And now, one question: do the banners go back up? Like, let's say I did one. Do they 2 years ago? Would they put it back up again, or are these all new people? I'm ashamed to say I hadn't paid attention to that.
I see a lot of repeat customers, if
repeat,
you will,
okay.
on there, and I'm just not sure if the format they use is on an annual basis or once you actually have a banner up and running, that it gets flown for eternity, if you will. So I don't know.
And
They
also,
do.
I think this is
They do.
not just North Augusta. It might even be national,
It's
all
everywhere.
over. Yeah, so, we were just so happy to be part of that. I mean, I think this great, so. But Kevin, he's a good old hometown North Augusta boy.
I had another question.
Yes,
So, I'm a disabled veteran. So, I go to the VA here in Augusta, Georgia. I mean, I was born in Augusta, but I really pretty much stayed over here all my life. So, when it comes down to that homeless stuff, we have a real big problem with going to the VA and staying at the Salvation Army and getting a apartment over here. It's like they don't correlate together because it's different counties.
And that's what it is, the river separate. I mean, that's a big problem.
That's a big problem. So it's like I have to go to the Salvation Army and stay there for 2 weeks so I can prove that I'm homeless to get into the VA. It's crazy. And I've been down there.
Yeah.
Y'all probably been rolled by me. Homeless.
I appreciate you sharing. I don't have an answer for you, but thank you.
But now, Kevin, I'm going to ask Kevin, have you contacted the VA over in Aiken?
They're no good.
They no good? Okay. All right, well, I know my cousin just happened to go over there and but I do know what you're saying now. That's so unfair. But to me, that should be something brought up with your state too, and it can start with us, but move to the state, because we want to help our veterans. I mean, that's what the president, everything said, help our veterans, so let's get on it.
Thank you. All right. Any other citizen comments? Good stuff. Okay. Any final comments from council? I have a few things to say, and then we'll be done.
And I'm talking a lot tonight, seems like it. But this young man right here, Mr. Megan, is that correct?
Aiken.
Okay. I will tell you this, tomorrow night is Summerfield Park. I love that park. Like I said, it's the best kept secret in North Augusta. Okay? And I will be there tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, unless I win my ball game tonight now. It's according to whether I win or lose. But we start our Bible study in that park for that neighborhood. Okay, and we meet every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And everybody's invited. We feed you, and so we are taking advantage of that park too. with stuff. And Rick, isn't there supposed to be some updates to Summerfield, like swings and all that's coming too, so.
Very good. Anybody else? Okay, just a few things. First, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you for your questions and your concern. We do appreciate it. It is awesome to see people in the audience willing to share. So I really mean that. Thank you very much. We will have our next study session next week, and it'll be centered around the Main Street program. And of course, we will not be meeting after that in July because of July the 4th. And I just want to give everybody a early happy July the 4th in case you don't participate in the study session with us. But again, thank you for y'all being here tonight, and y'all have a good evening. We stand adjourned.